Hello friends, welcome back to Current Year Gets Dominated. Today we are on the Eye in the North up against Sir Pancake. He's locked in. I'm Slanesh. Let's lock in Slanesh. We're up against Khorne. Okay, interesting matchup. Two factions with no real shooting elements. So let's start from scratch here. Now I do like Nakari here. Nakari can be somewhat risky because Scarbrand is a pretty popular pick here, and can actually beat Nakari and can rampage Nakari, which is not good because Nakari, if he gets stuck in a fight that he doesn't like, she is quite vulnerable. But there's a few units that I actually like here. Exalted Demonettes together with some Fiends. Now, what we're going to go for here, alongside these guys, we're just going to grab a couple of Marauder Spears just to have some infantry presence. And then in our reinforcing force, we're going to take a cultist. We're actually just going to put her on foot. She's quite fast. 44 speed means she can get up to where she needs to be fast enough, and 800 is obviously pretty cheap. We can get her in nice and early. I am going to have another unit of Demonettes in the reinforcement pool. We're going to have some Hellstriders. Also going to have some Seekers for their nice armor piercing. We obviously need a little bit more infantry. We'll grab some more spears. And with 2,850 left to spend, what do we feel like? What do we feel like? Some Scourges just to run down Warhounds and that kind of thing are pretty nice. A couple of Furies just for some sort of harassment. And with 1,050 gold left, what do we want? We could get let's just get another unit of Seekers. Actually, you know what? 2 Seekers is probably enough. Do we want some spawn? No, we'll go with another unit of Seekers. That's fine. That's fine. And then we'll give, let's give just the regular Marauders some chevrons. Now, the idea basically with this matchup is, like I said, Scarbrand, very popular pick because he can out-duel Nakari because he can rampage Nakari and he will just out-damage. Basically, Khorne versus Slanesh, from the Slanesh side, you won't trade one-to-one with basically anything on the Khorne roster all that well, so you don't fight fair. You've got a lot of debuffs in this list. The Fiends with their Soporific Musk, as well as the Charmed effect from the Exalted Demonettes, means if they stick together, they can actually, just on pure stats, like overcome most things. Demonettes obviously have very, very elite stats, obviously very fast and can abuse their devastating flanker. Nakari also has a lot of ways to control the movement sort of portion of the game. Speed debuff on Acquiescence, as well as the melee defense, as well as Willing Prey, which is a pretty decent debuff. You also have the Army ability. We'll ready up because our opponent is ready. The Army ability, which can be used as a net, but Nakari also has actually what we. Ooh, I was going to take Purvane of Slanesh. We could take Purvane of Slanesh as well for the Rampage, but I think we actually have enough ways to pin Scarbrand or pin really anything we want to goon in place. So obviously, yeah, like I said, 1-to-1, you're not going to trade well with anything, so you don't fight fair, you abuse your speed. This is not a great, I get this map a lot, but we can still make it work. The choke points on this map are very narrow, and they don't sort of open up behind them as much as some other maps like like Galleon's Cove or Sea of Claws and those kinds of maps. So this isn't my favorite map, but it does make it hard, at least for Khorne, to reinforce the capture points. So what we're going to do here is keep basically the Fiends and the Exalted Demonettes together. Nakari's going to basically run around with them and just try and basically goon stuff down one by one, make use of the Devastating Flanker if we can. We can also get the Demonet summon in from the Cultists, who also do get the Devastating Flanker down, so we can deploy them, we can summon them in basically behind a unit of Chaos Warriors or the like, and they will do a lot of damage. I'll trade into them very nicely. And it's 800 points for the Cultist, who's a reasonable combatant in her own right, plus a free unit of Demonettes. So I think we've got some good options here. Obviously, we're still going to have a reasonably good mobile advantage. We could have potentially gone some more Seeker Cav. Strider Cav with the anti-large. but they still do need some babysitting. Not babysitting, but they need to be used very carefully because they won't trade well with flesh hounds, despite their anti-large, because they can't take a counter charge well. But it looks like Mr. Sir Pancake here might be playing on a pancake. But we're going to load in and we'll have a bit of a chat about what we're going to do. Basically, we're going to send our spears up to here just to blockade this portion here. We'll reinforce with some marauders around here before we jump down to this trench down here. We can always get around to here if we need to with our cav. Marauder infantry isn't super, is reasonably fast, so they can get to that. They can get to that capture point reasonably nicely if they need be. So we're going to sit up there. We've only got 5 units. Looks like our friends only got 6. So that's that could potentially mean Scarbrand, some warriors, and maybe some hellhound, flesh hounds. That's what I'm used to seeing in this matchup. Just the basic warriors, but even though they don't have, you don't really need to pay for armor piercing. You don't even really need to pay for the anti-large on the halberds either. It's better just probably to get more numbers on the field. Might also be a couple of cultists too, which we need to look out for because the summons obviously will do a bit of a number on our lovely ladies. So we're in. Let's get our spears up here. We'll get our demonettes and our fiends here. Nakari's having his speech. So what have we got? We've got a herald, it looks like, on a juggernaut. We've got a soul grinder. That's another little good piece that we can burst down pretty nicely. Spawn will do a lot of damage, but we can trade nicely into them just with basic spears. And then we're seeing a lot of armored warriors, which is actually pretty good for us. It's actually kind of exactly what we want to see because obviously the demonettes, even just the basic demonettes, can dance around them all day and use their speed to abuse devastating flanker. And we might actually come up here. We might actually come up here with our fiends and our exalted demonettes. We're fast enough. We can pin stuff in the trench here on the capture point, and then use. We'll get the cultist out as well, nice and early, and then use devastating flanker with our demonettes. They will absolutely burn through warriors. So what's my opponent doing? Looks like he is going to take up sort of a position up on the top here. He's got some furies. We can potentially respond with some furies of our own, but I think Corn Furies will beat our furies 1-to-1. Obviously with frenzy. We'll get some more marauders coming down. We do want to just make sure we cover all the points. He's going to push down to the central point. That's fine. He can take the central point. We're going to do a bit of a number on this soul grinder if we can get to grips with it. Nakari can definitely take on a soul grinder quite nicely, and we might even get you just coming down the hill here. You're going to take that point just fine. He's not really giving us that point. We're happy for the halberds actually to sit over here, and we'll bring them back just in case. Now Furies don't have great stats, so they've actually got good melee attack. They've got pretty garbage melee defense though, so they probably don't want to take that fight. They don't want to dive down, certainly by themselves. Now what we can do is potentially also use our summon here to get in behind them. He can shoot away with his... Now please don't jump down. Please don't go down here. I think he's going to jump in behind us, maybe just to try and do a bit of business here. We can get a lash down potentially, just get some damage into them. Not a lot of damage there, but it will disrupt them reasonably nicely, and then we will jump down the hill. We are going to put the demonette summon over here to help kill the berserkers, and Nakari is going to jump down, pop acquiescence onto them, and we are going to jump into this fight just here. Demonette summon into the back of the berserkers is going to be pretty tasty for us. We can pop the Whitsteel sword, and we can also pop, let's pop that on the spawn just so they can't do that much damage. And we are gonna, definitely lost our marauders there pretty quick. We can bring some Seeker Cat in over here to try and get in and charge the... And we just want them fighting there, and we can get them. We can actually pull the... Try and pull... Oh, they're spawn. Okay. Over here, what are we doing? Now, the good thing about sending Furies in where they will be killed is that Nakari does get healing. Actually, they have done a lot of damage to Nakari. That is not very bueno at all. You need to get out of there, Mr. or Mrs. Nakari, whatever you prefer to be called. No idea what you are rolling with these days. You can jump out here and actually attack the Soul Grinder as well. Now, Nakari is getting some healing as a result of this. Pin in the Herald, that's very nice, and he's coming up with his halberds, which I think he is going to regret, because what we're going to do is come in behind them. Fury's jumping down over here. We might be able to get a bit of a surprise attack. I think if we get an uncontested charge off, we will win that, and we can even just make sure they die with that. Now, Nakari, okay, Nakari is getting bullied. This is not good. We need to pop you down like so. We'll come in behind with the Seekers, just set up that fight. And Nakari might even actually need to go back to the walk. Let's pull you out, because you don't want to fight. You don't want to fight Spawn. You can fight them and try and get them to turn around. He's got some Berserker Cav coming down here. You can actually go back, because we might actually use your summon, and you can come up this way. Nakari wants to kind of be in close so he can make use of the stuff that dies. Okay, maybe not. Okay, Corn Soul Grinder is doing a number on this, actually. Alright, Nakari, you need to come this way. You just need to run, actually, at this point. You need to run this way. You can just send some... We need some more infantry on the field, just coming down this way. We did actually kill off those... now, we did kill off those... Furies, which is nice for us. And we are going to kill this Soul Grinder, which is quite excellent for us. Spears can jump down here. Okay, Exalted Demonettes there have not done too well. You can jump this way. You can come here. Nakari can come around, and what can we do? We can maybe try and kill the Herald, and then we can get some healing back that way as well. Now, what we don't want is for Furies to jump on our Seekers, because that would be not the greatest way. Okay, you're still taking, unfortunately, some damage from all this. You need to get on here. You can come back to base. You need to get on here. And you can pop the Witsteel Sword so we can try and kill this Herald. It feels like you're just being pushed away. Try and kill them. Okay, if we can hold all these guys off, we might have a nice fight going on here. We are pretty dead even on points. But Nakari does not want to get in there. Bad. That was bad. So we're coming up with the... what's it called? The Spearman that we had on the capture point at the start. We also have some more Striders, and we are going to get the Cultist back, as well as some infantry to come down to this point here. Seekers are going to set up a bit of a wombo, slambo, jambo in the rear here, and we can get them in over here. We are losing this center capture point, but we are killing a lot of stuff in here as well. Seekers can jump out through the infantry. You need to retreat. They're probably going to die, actually. That's no good. We're not going to let Halberds fight our Seekers. That's not what we want, but we do want the Seekers fighting the... what we do want is the Seekers charging the Berserkers. Now, the Halberds can kind of be run on a bit of a merry dance. We might even actually get some more Furies down just to try and fight them. What's the score like? We're pretty level at the moment. We're going to jump back over here with our Marauders, because we don't want to fight Bloodletters one-on-one. I think they are slightly faster than us too. We're going to get the Marauder summon down this way, and we're also going to pull back now that we've got the charge with our Seekers. Those guys are doing nicely, and we can actually march down to the bottom capture point now and see if we can take that. You take them on, you push them back. Seekers doing nicely. And the demonettes in the rear here might be able to come in and get a devastating charge down onto the spawn there. Keep finishing them off. We don't want them to come back. And maybe we can get some Hell Striders and some Furies as well. Furies have magic attacks, so they can bypass a lot of the magic attack, physical resistance rather. We can pin you in place to set up a nice little charge here with these guys. You can charge in, Slambo Jambo. We're going to get rid of the Wambo. That was a cool little rhyme, wasn't it? Now we need some more spears, actually. What we need down here is spears. Actually, what we would love is some anti-large cap. So we're going to take this capture point, I believe. We'll set up right on the corner here. And again, we're going to go the old... We're not going to fight fair. Like I said, we're not fighting fair here. Those are bloodletters. We don't want you actually fighting here because that summon is about to degen. You can take those Chaos Warriors while they are a freebie, and we can get in behind you. Alright, we need to do this quickly because we need to get in behind them before the spawn pin us in. But we're going to get a nice charge off here. How are we going up here? Nice. Okay, those bloodletters completely melted. Now, he's got the center capture point, but I don't think we... I don't think at the moment we can really contest it, but we might be able to get some anti-large cab. I am forward in the chair now, friends. I am forward in the chair. You're going to come back to base because you can't kill anything there. Furies can jump back up into the air. We need to get you out because unfortunately you have taken a rear charge. Devastating flanker on the what are they called? Furies is nice, and we're going to come around the back with you as well. These Furies over here are going to do their thing. Are they spears? Yeah, they're spears. You are very bashed up though, so that is not all that nice. And we need you to run away because we don't want you fighting bloodletters. So spears can jump in behind here. Actually, we might even get another couple of units of marauders just coming down to reinforce the point. We can just pull him apart at this point. How are we going over here? Not great. Not great, it's fair to say. They are the infantry version, so we might be able to kill these Furies and just hold him in place. If we can hold that point, actually, he is taking that point. That's interesting. I could have sworn that we had that point under our control, but it clearly seems that we don't. Alright, we need to start thinking about a double cap because it's starting to get out of hand for us here. We are going to be able to kill that unit. We can burst through that unit there. They aren't, unfortunately. You can pull up into the air. You guys are actually just going to... You just are going to... you're going to degen. Come over here. And maybe we can get some... would have loved that unit of Furies. Actually, just polish off that unit there. You aren't... you are not a unit of... You are not a unit of spears, which would have been absolutely ideal, but we do have some anti-large cav coming down here. You are a unit of spears, but we need you over here, and we're going to actually use a bit of a little loop-de-loop around here to try and force you off that point. That is a unit of spears. You can come here and fight on the end of the capture point, and we need you fighting down here. We need to try and take this point very soon because we are going to need to triple cap him. It's nice if we have some infantry just there to try and hold him in place. However, what we are going to do is get some them down. We're going to put some damage into them. We are going to run and get our armor-piercing little lady over here, and we have some anti-large cav around here to try and kill those spawns. If we can hold this position, even for a little minute, this is going to be tight. We're going to need to triple cap him very quickly, and he is unfortunately probably going to take this point off us with that summon there. So we are going to get a a nice summon here. Use the spears and the cav to try and kill you. So we're going to cap that point, but I think he's just going to get us. Alright, this is going to be close. He holds the middle one as well. Never mind. Nah, we've lost this. Disappointing game. We should have won this. I think we've definitely controlled the battlefield relatively well. The exalted demonettes aren't going to matter. We needed to have them out sooner. And I have... yeah, he's got 2 units of infantry there, so we can't cap that. Don't think that's really a decisive defeat. On points it is, but I think give me another minute there and we're probably in a position where we can 3-cap him fairly indefinitely. Nakari just got absolutely potatoed. I'm sorry, Nakari. I'm sorry, Nakari. The Fiends and the Demonettes in the early game, I think did what we needed them to do, but probably, yeah, we just took way too much damage on Nakari. What was he fighting? He wasn't fighting Spawn. Did the Soul Grunt? Oh my goodness. What's the deal with the Khorne Soul Grinder? Does that have some kind of good dueling prowess that I wasn't aware of? I know it has like a precursor ammunition, but yeah, that's a disappointing loss. That's a disappointing loss. We shouldn't have lost that. We controlled the battlefield well. I felt like we were controlling that center cap point, but clearly I was wrong. So yeah, I think overall our plan. I know our plan does work here. I mean, I've used the Exalted Demonettes to very good effect here, alongside the debuffs. This map, though, is really good for Khorne because, as I said, the choke points don't open out into anything. And there's not a lot of... there's less... it's easier to protect the capture points from you know, taking the long route around than it is on some other maps like Galleon's Cove and that kind of thing. So the Seeker Cav did okay. Strider Cav, not so good. Furies, we'll probably just spread ourselves a little bit thin. We should have just concentrated our efforts on the center cap point and let him have the back one. Because if we'd taken that early on, I don't know if we could have positioned ourselves well enough because we had the top capture point. We can obviously call in reserves at our to stop him coming the long way around and in behind us to the trench. But yeah, that's a disappointing loss. So I am going to have to update the Dominatometer to 1 out of 2, 50%. So we've won with Nurgle and we've lost with Slaanesh in our domination series. So we'll have to lick our wounds and come back a bit better. So well played to Sir Pancake. What was in his reserve force? Yeah, just a whole lot of info. Yeah, we should not have lost this game. We should not have lost this game. Everything here is so expensive and so slow. Gonna have to watch the replay back on that one and see what I did wrong. Anyway, thanks for checking it out. I got dominated. We'll see you next time. Take care.